Time to talk Rams football.
Matthew Stafford is returning to Detroit. And in returning to Detroit of Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff is facing the Los Angeles Rams. All right. Now, I do believe these two teams met before out in LA. Wasn't really much to hype about because it wasn't much to think about between those two teams. Rams was ready to go on a run to the Super Bowl. That's what happened to Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. It was their first year. They was getting some things worked out, okay? But this one, however, is for the Detroit Lions winning their first NFC North Championship in 30 years. The first time they are hosting a playoff game at Ford Field in 30 years. And the golden child of Matthew Stafford is returning, okay? He is returning to the land of where he became the NFL quarterback. All right. It is so good. This trade happened back in 2001. So there's a lot. There's a lot to look forward to when it comes to these two quarterbacks. So let me give them to you. Matthew Stafford, since he's the visiting party, Matthew Stafford played 12 years in Detroit. And in those 12 years in Detroit, he threw for 45,109 yards. He completed 62.6% of his passes, throwing 282 touchdown passes, 144 interceptions. His record in Detroit was 74-90-1. He got the Detroit Lions to 3 playoff appearances. They lost all 3 of them. And the 3 seasons that he has been with the Rams, including this season that just finished, Matthew Stafford has thrown for 10,938 passing yards, completing 65.7% of his passes with 75 touchdowns, 36 interceptions. He is 24-17 as a Ram, 4-0 in the playoffs as a Ram, and is a Super Bowl champion. That is Matthew Stafford from Detroit to LA. Love it. Gotta love it. Now let's go to Jared Goff from LA to Detroit. Jared Goff spent 5 seasons with the Rams, throwing for 18,171 passing yards, completing 63.4% of his passes, passing for 107 touchdowns to 55 interceptions. His record with the Rams was 42-27. He had 6 games in the playoffs with the Rams. He went 500 at 3-3. 3 seasons with the Detroit Lions. He has thrown for 12,258 yards, completing 66.5% of his passes. Has thrown for 78 touchdown passes to 27 interceptions. And his record with the Detroit Lions is 24-23-1. All right. And let's compare both quarterbacks since the trade. Since the trade, ladies and gentlemen, both guys have won 24 games for their respective teams. Jared Goff has the better completion percentage at 66.5 to Matthew Stafford's 65.7. Goff has thrown for more passing, has more passing yards, should I say, at 12,258. Matthew Stafford has only thrown for 10,938 with the Rams. 78 touchdown passes for Goff, 75 for Matthew Stafford. Both have turned the ball over 41 times. Quarterback passer rating is 95.8 for Matthew Stafford, 96.5 for Jared Goff. Matthew Stafford has won the Super Bowl title with his new team. Jared Goff has yet to get there with his team. All right. That's just since the trade, okay? Because we all know this game is going to be revolved around both quarterbacks, mainly Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. And then you're going to sprinkle in Jared Goff facing Sean McVay again. That's that. This season, Matthew Stafford is 10-7. Jared Goff is 12-5. Jared Goff has completed 67.3% of his passes to Matthew Stafford 62.3. I mean, I got these numbers for y'all. I have to show you to you. Jared Goff is second in the NFL in passing with 4,575 yards. Matthew Stafford was 11 at 3,965 yards. Now, that does include that Matthew Stafford did miss 2 games, however. Just throw a caveat. Matthew Stafford did miss 2 games. He missed the Green Bay game. He missed the season finale. He missed 2 games. Passing touchdown, Jared Goff is at 30, which is 4th in the league. Matthew Stafford is 24, which is 11th in the league. 11 turnovers for Matthew Stafford, 12 turnovers for Jared Goff. Passer rating, Jared Goff is at 97.9, which is 9th. And the passer rating for Matthew Stafford is 92.5, which is 15th. All right. So those the quarterbacks that you're going to hear a lot about when this game is getting closer and closer and we get kickoff, okay? That's what you're going to hear about. This is what it's going to be. This is what you're going to hear. There's nowhere around. This is exactly what you're going to hear. We're going to talk about Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff a lot. Now, we got that out the way. Now let's get to the league rankings. This is how the league rankings finished off for the regular season. The Detroit Lions have the 3rd ranked offense in the league. The Los Angeles Rams have the 7th ranked offense in the league. Defensive wise, the Rams are 20th in the league. The Detroit Lions are 19th in the league. The 2nd rated passing offense in the league goes to the Detroit Lions. The Los Angeles Rams are 10th in passing offense. And the rushing offense, the 5th rushing offense in the league is the Detroit Lions. And the Rams finished 11th in rushing. Okay. That does take into account that we didn't have Cameron Williams for about 5-6 games this year. Okay. 5-6 games. Right now we got that out the way. Speaking of those games, Cameron Williams has carried the ball 228 times. He has rushed for 1,144 yards and has 12 touchdowns on the year. The leading rusher for the Detroit Lions, even though they have a 2-headed monster backfield with Josh Gibbs, is David Montgomery, 219 carries for 1,015 yards rushing with 13 touchdowns. All right, receivers, the leader is Puka Nacua, obviously for the Rams with 105 receptions, just under 1,500 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. For the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff's favorite target is Amon-Ra St. Brown, 119 catches, 15 receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns. Now, like I said, the Detroit Lions have a 2-headed monster backfield, which is clearly David Montgomery and Josh Gibbs. So we got to pay attention to that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the top wide receivers in the league who did not make it to the Pro Bowl. They calling him one of the biggest Pro Bowl snubs of this season, which I agree with because that man has been balling. You have Josh Reynolds for Detroit. You have other guys. Most likely they'll be out. They rookie sensation tight end Sam Laporta, which is going to be a very disappointment for them to not have a great weapon like that for them. So Jared Goff has weapons. He can sling the ball around. You see, he has more passing yards than Matthew Stafford this year. He almost at 4,600 passing yards. But nevertheless, we did go 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks without Cooper Kupp. Count 5 if you count the San Fran game. So Matthew Stafford had to get used to Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua. As of lately, DeMarcus Robinson has come on strong as the season winds down. So that's another option. We know about Tyler Higbee. When Tyler Higbee missed the game against the Baltimore Ravens, Davis Allen, our rookie tight end, stepped in admirably. So that's another weapon that we can use. Kyle Williams has been a beast for us in the backfield. That running game is different with Kyle Williams running the ball. You still got Wes Freeman who can still do some things. It's going to be an interesting battle, man. You're talking 51.5 is the over-under. I'm going over. I'm not a betting man. I don't do stuff like this, but for this one, because it's playoff and I know people want to hear that. 51.5, I think you should go over it. I can see 50. I can see 53 to 54 points scored in this game. You're talking 2 of the top 10 offenses in the league, 2 of the top 10 passing offenses in the league. The Rams are just outside the top 10 in rushing, and Detroit is 5th. So it's going to be some points scored in this game. Now, which defense can step up and get key stops, okay? We already talked about Kobe Turner tying the franchise record for rookies and sets in the season with 9. Brian Young's 3rd, our other rookie. And then who did Kobe Turner tie the record with? Oh, yeah, Aaron Donald, who's still on the field, by the way. Raheem Morris has done a great job. We got to work on our secondary. Our secondary gives up big plays, but Detroit gives up big plays too. So it's going to be interesting to see which team can lessen the big plays on the other one. It's going to be interesting to see which defense can get the other team to punt this party one more time. Okay? So there's a lot going into this game, but it's going to be an interesting fact. It's going to be rolling around the quarterbacks, so Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. They're the ones that swap places and whatnot in there. In the playoffs, they're at Ford Field. It's the first time in 30 years that Detroit got to host a playoff game. Matthew Stafford is returning to be the first obstacle on this playoff journey for the Detroit Lions because they won the NFC for the first time in 30 years. It's a lot when it comes to both of these quarterbacks. So it's going to revolve around that, but I think defense and special teams might play a pivotal role and see who makes it to the division round and who is one and done in the playoffs in this game. ESPN has as a 54% favorite of the Detroit Lions to defend home turf and make it to the divisional round. And if they do, they'll be seeing they're most likely seeing the Dallas Cowboys because Dallas Cowboys is favored to beat the Green Bay Packers. But you never know. That's why they play the game. That's Chris Brown used to say. The Rams are getting 46% of a chance to win this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But for me, I'm taking the Rams 31-27. They walk in the Ford Field. They break the hearts of Detroit Lions fans across the city of Detroit and across the state of Michigan. They win 31-37 and 31-27. Matthew Stafford returns to Detroit for the first time since being traded and leaves victorious. All right. That's just the way I see it. And by the way, that puts you at 58. All right. So that's the over. And that will do it for this edition of Rambley Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I will see y'all next week, either in a win or a loss. Either I'll be recapping the wild card game and looking at the season in totality, or I'll be recapping the wild card weekend and previewing the division round. Until then, we shall see. For the Playmaker, I'm signing off. I'll catch y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in to Rambley Talk. Rambley Talk is sponsored by Fanatics, Lids, and Paramount Plus. Get your favorite sports appeal with Fanatics or Lids, and get great streaming service with Paramount Plus. If you want to donate to the program, you can donate to us via Cash App, $D Playmakers. That is again, $D Playmakers. And remember, you can follow and subscribe to Rambley Talk on all podcast directories, including Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And those of you who are on Apple, leave us a great review, leave comments on how you feel about Rambley Talk and the episode that you listen to. Tune in again next time for more Rambley Talk, hosted by the Playmakers.